GM, we are so back. So in this one, I'm going to discuss the markets, quick updates, go into where we've been, where we're going, and also what is to come potentially here. So let's just kick things straight off. Where have I been? So first and foremost, marriage, honeymoon, chilling. That's pretty much been it. But now hopefully back into a more normal cadence with creating some content here on YouTube. I know a lot of people have been reaching out, saying they've missed the vids, etc., which is pretty awesome to hear. So if you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. But anyone else, thank you for the likes, the comments, the shares, and all that stuff. Highly appreciated. So if we just jump into today's video, BTC at about 107. Yesterday, we were on the precipice of a major breakout. Obviously, we had CPI coming in lower than expected. You have Elon and Trump kissing and making up. We also have the upcoming Fed rate cutting cycle. Maybe it'll happen this month, but even if Jerome doesn't do it this month, it's going to happen sooner than later. And it seems from all the rhetoric you're seeing from like the government, we're going to go through this kind of real pro period regulation-wise for crypto. Big bills passing, we'll talk about that in today's video. But it seems that the Trumps have chosen crypto as their vehicle to create literal generational wealth, Saudi level kind of money. So it makes sense to be on side with crypto during this period. Now, we obviously have a bit of volatility in today's video because things are down a few grand, which, you know, we was at 110, 109 yesterday. It's down to 107. So nothing for BTC, but we have some FUD on my timeline yet again. So first things first, if you haven't used Hyperliquid, check out the link down below. You'll save 4% off your trading fees over there. Going to do a few more Hyperliquid videos very soon because there's a potential huge airdrop coming up. And if you missed the first one, it was life-changing for many. And the next one probably will be as well, as it does seem that although Hyperliquid is the consensus trade, it hasn't been utilized by many people. So it's a very interesting ecosystem. More on that to come, as I said. But simulation scriptwriters are loading geopolitical FUD every time Bitcoin is about to break out. Now, if we just look at this from a tinfoil hat of maybe the kind of scriptwriters, those in major power, maybe they're playing the markets, and every time Bitcoin's likely to really accelerate, they load the FUD cannon and drop it on us, which would make a lot of sense as, you know, if you want to get positioned heavily into something before it does mega moon, if you've got the news, etc., in the palm of your hands, if you will, then you can use that to your advantage. So I think that's what's happening. And you can see it's like Iranian FUD, Israel, Iran, same war-based rhetoric that we've seen many times before. And this was posted by K-Money, just showing the number of times that there's been fear-mongering around Iran over, you know, some recent history there, which is just pretty funny. And we get a bit more cynical, I think, the older we get. And definitely within the crypto markets, like it is as if they're playing against us at times. But BTC at 107, it is definitely buy the dip territory. Like almost everything possible is going in our favor right now. Goldilocks period, mass adoption of stables, crypto, people aping 401k savings into BTC. The bid's there. But we have this as well. So why the altcoins especially probably the best bet right now? Well, you have Ethereum actually trucking on up. And so we know from history that when ETH does well, it's good for the altcoin market. BTC flows are going into institutional hands and their clients. And we haven't seen that trickle down wealth effect into the crypto markets. But when ETH pumps, typically altcoins do really well. And currently you're seeing multiple weeks of inflows, BlackRock doing 570 mil in just 2 weeks of ETH. So it's being slurped. There's obviously change at the Ethereum Foundation as well. So ETH actually has momentum as an asset right now, which is awesome to see. Now, some of the kind of narratives around this are the fact you have real world assets, the suits coming on chain, and we have stablecoins, which are also a vehicle for the US debt to be bought up. So short-term US treasuries being bought by stablecoin companies. So if we just look at the DeFi Llama data on stablecoins here, we're now at $250 billion stablecoins, which is incredible. Last cycle we hit 177 bill. We surpassed that, and it's literally been going up like a hockey stick. So the US needs its debt to be bought up. We have US treasuries being bought by stablecoin providers. It is acting in unison with the needs of the US, which is pretty crazy. And so we're kind of on the right side of the market with this. Genius Act yesterday exceeds the 60 votes in the Senate. And I believe it now goes forward for a final passage and then Trump will sign it in. So essentially the kind of like swearing in, would you say, swearing in of stablecoins into US policy. It's just a green light for stablecoins, DeFi. And we think about, we had DeFi Summer 2020, probably going to have DeFi Summer 2025 here. And as Noah posts, Congress is voting for boomers to pump the bags of millennials. So it makes sense to be obviously positioned in some DeFi protocols here with such favorable outcomes here on the table. And it's quite surprising we're being given so much time to actually, plant our feet into some of these DeFi bags. But maybe it's just the fact we're so close to it. We know kind of where the money is likely to flow here. And maybe other entities who are going to really pump the prices here are just going to be slower to react. South Korea unveils plan to allow crypto stablecoins. Bank of America says the bank is developing its own crypto stablecoin. These stables will have to operate obviously on chain. So DeFi protocols will be net beneficiaries to this. So just plain and simple, Uniswap, Aave, Curve, Maker, those kind of things are obviously going to reprice higher in my humble opinion and positioned for this. So stablecoins up only, seeing a lot of positive narrative around this, but positive regulation, which is obviously a key driver of money flows. So what we've seen over the last week or so, I believe the current SEC chair even stating that they're not going to go after DeFi protocols, brings me back to Hyperliquid here as well, because Hyperliquid is a non-KYC DeFi platform, perp trading, spot trading, and it has its own EVM as well, the Hyper EVM, which is its own ecosystem with a lot of cool apps in there. So this pretty much given the green light additionally. So you're seeing that the major takeaways are DeFi should reprice, stablecoin plays in particular should reprice. And then what do the retail participants seemingly like to ape? Meme coins. So you have kind of like, I think, as I see it, suit money going into probably DeFi protocols, and then the retail ape money going into the likes of your fart coins, and of course Murad's SPX 6900. These are the two breakout memes of this cycle, the kind of class of the post 2024 halving era, Fartcoin and SPX, and I'm not going to fight that, holding both of these. So if we just go into CoinGecko data here, over the last 7 days, biggest gainers, starting from the bottom, who's got double-digit gains? Aave. World Liberty Fi is literally an Aave fork or a white label solution of Aave. Sky, which is MakerDAO. ICP, not one for me particularly. Hyperliquid, Virtuous Protocol, Uniswap, SPX, and Fartcoin there. So out of the big boys, that's what's moving. The market has spoken, and I think we'll continue in this vein for quite some time here. But the overall outlook and trajectory, I think, for crypto now has never been more bullish. And when you can see some of the charts like this that have already broken out into all-time highs before BTC, the likes of your hypes, your SPXs, Fartcoin, not too far behind. And obviously Bitcoin has broken out, but is currently back below its kind of price discovery point. But I honestly think it's just a matter of time before this full sends here. So I think we've got some really bullish times ahead in the market. There's going to be some concerns maybe towards the end of the year, maybe. Kind of my positioning on this is typically we do top in Q4 as per the previous two cycles. So I think history may well repeat, but that still puts us out, like 5-6 months from here. So unless things drastically change, I think selling into like the last quarter of this year and taking profits along the way makes a lot of sense. But that's kind of where we are from my standpoint as of now, heavy into DeFi and heavy into meme coins here, and obviously Hyperliquid. Check out my link down below. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Quick market update. We'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.